I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. As we've said many times here before on the MeidasTouch Network, Alina Habba may be the worst lawyer, not just in the United States, but in the history of the United States, which ultimately is good for justice and proves the old adage that you get the lawyer that you deserve. And so Donald Trump gets Alina Habba. Here's a photo of Donald Trump and Alina Habba celebrating her birthday the other night, though, before he was indicted by a Manhattan grand jury. And here is an interview that Alina Habba gave. Let's just play you a short clip of it with, I believe it's with Time magazine, where she is asked about the criminal indictment against Donald Trump. And her defense is that, again, she hasn't even seen the indictment yet. Let's just say that from the outset. But her defense is it's barely a misdemeanor. Play the clip.
And now we have a DA who has decided to bring what to me is the weakest and oldest, it's not even a crime. I'm not even sure what it is. It's barely a misdemeanor.
So that's not exactly the best defense that you can make, saying that the crime is barely a misdemeanor. But I want to show you this interview that she gave, where I'm going to play you a few minutes of this clip, and then I really want to go through it with you so you can see all of the falsehoods that she makes. This is her on Maria Bartiromo over the weekend, and Maria Bartiromo asks her first about the indictment of Donald Trump, and then Maria Bartiromo asks her about the 10 other cases that she is working on. Alina Habba is not a criminal defense lawyer, but she is defending Donald Trump in the E. Jean Carroll case, civil case, defending Donald Trump in the case brought by the New York Attorney General Letitia James. But let me play this clip for you, and then let's talk about it. Here, play this clip.
I think he's shocked and disappointed in the state of our country. As he said, he's always put America first. I think that is the best policy, and I agree with everything that Jim Jordan said. I'm really proud of what Jim's doing, and I agree with him. And I think, you know, President Trump's doing the same thing and using his voice, which is the loudest voice right now for the Republican Party, to show the outrage and the shock and disappointment. We can't have politics with these corrupt AGs and DAs. It can't happen anymore.
So
just
let me get your take on the other 10 lawsuits that you are defending President Trump on. I know that you're not the criminal attorney here, that's someone else, but you've got 10 other lawsuits that you're working on. What are they?
Yes, I have several lawsuits, but he's not the defendant on many of them. You know, we have Letitia James. That's probably the most prominent one that I want to discuss because that is, again, a corrupt system. They're going after the Trump organization. Poor Alan Weisselberg is sitting in Rikers Island right now. Over what? Valuations? This is a real estate company that has done extremely well, is successful, and they're trying to take them and all of their individuals that lead that company down for nothing. You know, they got 3 years of special proceeding investigations. They interviewed almost 60 people. We have 5 weeks. We have a complaint filed in November. It's going to trial in October. This shows exactly how corrupt New York judicial system has become. The DAs and the AGs, Jim Jordan, I hope he brings in each and every one of them and asks them where the funding came from and how they think it's appropriate to take funding away from the city that is now falling apart, which I used to love. They are taking funding away while people are dying and there is crime rampant in the streets to go after the leading GOP Republican candidate. It is unacceptable. That is for me the most important case I have. Other than that, you know, a lot of them are cases where we have to defend against things like election fraud, things like I have a case in Pennsylvania. You know, somebody tweeted something and they sue Donald Trump. You know, I have a case against Mary Trump in the New York Times. I'm defending the case against E. Jean Carroll in 3 weeks on trial in New York. Again,
yeah.
You know,
well,
the same thing, rapid trials.
Yeah, I'm making the point that there's a lot coming at President Trump, even after this criminal case right now. Alina, these cases take time. I mean, this criminal case in the Manhattan DA's office is going to have a long proceedings. You're going to have discovery. You're going to have a motion process. And that is way beyond the 4 months, which begin the GOP primary process, which, of course, the first debate is this August. Will this prevent President Trump from running in 2024?
No. I don't think so. I think this is going to strengthen him. In my opinion, if you look at the polls, if you look at the American people's opinion, he is leading in the polls. And every time they come and hit him hard, Maria, every time they try and take him down, his base grows stronger. The American people are not dumb. They see what they are doing. I don't think so. I think he's going to get catapulted into that White House.
And of course, he was able to raise $4 million in a couple of days on the heels of this. And he is the #1 candidate in the polls. We'll be watching. Thanks very much, Alina. Alina Habba joining us, President Trump's attorney, one of President Trump's attorneys.
So there's so many things there that are false and just completely deranged. Let's just go through them one by one. I mean, the first thing that Alina Habba says, I mean, she's ostensibly a lawyer, right? But she's out there more as a kind of PR person and a bad PR person, and not even talking about legal issues. She just goes, what makes Donald Trump great is that he puts America first, and that is a good policy. What is that? Okay, you can't just say words. Okay, he does not put America first because his policies, if there were any, were actually pro-Russia, pro our enemies, pro our adversaries. And like, I lived during the Trump years, so I refuse to be gaslit by right-wing propaganda networks that want to tell me those were great years. Those were horrific years, which concluded with the fact that Trump so utterly and completely mishandled the global pandemic that he led to literally millions and millions of deaths. Okay, I remember those years. So cut the crap about things were great then. Okay, cut the crap with that fascist gaslighting right there. Then she goes and says, Trump is going to do what he does best, which is show his voice as outrage and to continue to show the outrage. What does it even mean? His policy is going to be just showing how outraged he is and to continue to, threaten the Manhattan district attorney and to post on social media in all caps. It's completely and utterly deranged. And then Maria Bartiromo says, look, we know you're not a criminal defense lawyer, so let's talk about these other 10 lawsuits. And Alina Habba then goes, well, actually, he's not a defendant in those lawsuits, which is a lie. Of course, why would you be defending him if he's not a defendant in the lawsuit? And then she goes on to name the various cases where she is defending Donald Trump on. And so she mentions, for example, New York Attorney General Letitia James's case. And they always have to lie about everything they say is a lie, even where it's an unnecessary lie. So she says New York Attorney General Letitia James filed that lawsuit in November. She didn't file it in November. She filed it in September. And there was a special proceeding that took place before the filing of it. And these issues aren't shocking to Donald Trump. These issues aren't shocking to his defense team. It's not like the New York Attorney General's office in their civil case where they're suing the Trump organization for fraudulent, phony financial valuations. It's not like these are the New York Attorney General's documents, right? It's based on Trump's statement of financial conditions. You have all of the documents, Alina Habba and Donald Trump, in your possession, custody, and control. These are your records that you falsified. And in those cases, and in that case, Donald Trump had the opportunity in a deposition to set the record straight and to testify about the truth. That's what, a lot of people do. They testify. There are cases. They testify, they defend themselves. Not Donald Trump. He invoked his Fifth Amendment rights against self-incrimination to each and every question that New York Attorney General Letitia James asked. He pled the Fifth over 400 times, didn't answer a single question in that case.
Now let's take a quick break to talk about our next sponsor, neurohacker Qualia Mind. Now, just like you, throughout the course of a workday, we here at the MeidasTouch Network, we're juggling a lot of different tasks and assignments. That's why we're so proud to partner with neurohacker Qualia Mind to keep us focused and improve our memories. Transforming willpower and productivity can in turn transform tons of life habits for the better, from workouts to job performance to life goals. And that's why it's so important to have a sharp memory in today's working environment. Look, we've all misplaced something before and ended up down on ourselves, whether it be our keys or leaving something at work, because how could we forget that? Well, worry no more. Our sponsor, Neurohacker, combines 28 of the most research-backed nootropic ingredients on Earth into the ultimate brain fuel formula, Quality of Mind. And it's been changing people's lives for years now. For my daily mental health performance and supporting long-term brain health, Quality of Mind is indispensable. It's so cool to take a health product where you don't have to worry if it's working because, well, it is. Now, I noticed the difference in just days to my focus, my mood, my memory, and my willpower to get things done. The formula, it's non-GMO, vegan, gluten-free, and the ingredients are meant to complement one another, factoring in each ingredient's effect on mental clarity. It's also backed by a 100-day money-back guarantee. So you have almost 3 months to try Quality of Mind at no financial risk and decide for yourself. See what the best brain fuel formula on earth can do for your mindset. Go to neurohacker.com/Meidas for $100 off. That's only $39 a bottle. And as a listener of the MeidasTouch podcast, use code Meidas at checkout for an extra 15% off your first purchase. That's neurohacker.com/Meidas to try Quality of Mind with code Meidas to experience life-changing mental performance.
Then you go on to say Donald Trump's CFO, Alan Weisselberg, is in prison in Rikers Island, and you go, over what? Over valuations? Alan Weisselberg pled guilty, okay? He took a guilty plea for the crimes that he committed in engaging in a fraudulent scheme within the Trump organization, where then the Trump organization was criminally convicted by a jury. And you can't just say a word, valuations. Okay, fraudulent and phony valuations, fake valuations, okay, to get tax benefits, to get preferential loans, to get preferential treatment when it comes to insurance. You know what that's called? Fake valuations. It's called fraud. It's called fraud. And fraud can be a crime, and fraud can also be something that you get sued for in civil lawsuits. So over what? Valuations? That is a serious thing. Yeah, lying about billions of dollars of financial valuations to gain improper benefits is against the law. You then go on to say, again, now you pivot back to Alvin Bragg and the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. You go, where is the funding coming from? And Jim Jordan needs to look into that. What are you even talking about? Where is the funding coming from? This is the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, okay? Manhattan District Attorney's Office, they are a sovereign prosecutorial authority in the state of New York. Is it true that prosecutorial offices across the country work sometimes in a limited capacity with the federal government and, for example, in forfeiture proceedings, collect some money? Yeah. But as Alvin Bragg responded to Jim Jordan's attempt to criminally interfere with the Manhattan District Attorney's investigation, I think Alvin Bragg said they may have in total used about $5,000 of federal funds, which is part of a bigger program that they have as part of their overall investigations. But it's clear that you just have no clue at all what you are talking about here. The Manhattan District Attorney's Office pursues their own criminal investigations. They are funded as New York prosecutorial offices are. And when you're encouraging Jim Jordan from the House of Representatives to interfere with the criminal investigation of Donald Trump and now the criminal indictment of Donald Trump, it just shows that you have absolutely no clue what you're talking about. But at the heart of it, you see at the end what she's talking about. She goes, rapid trials. All of these rapid trials. They're not really all that rapid. I mean, they're on fairly normal trial calendars. That's just trial dates get set. I know Donald Trump is used to delaying all of these cases by engaging in bad faith acts, but now that he's exposed himself, that he does this in bad faith, now that you and he have been sanctioned, for example, in federal court in Florida for over or close to $1 million for filing frivolous lawsuits there. And by the way, you and he had to dismiss a number of other lawsuits because they were frivolous as well. The judges have caught on to your schemes to delay trials, and you're just not getting the continuances and delays you used to get. Now you're just being treated like the rest of everybody else because courts have caught on to the criminal conduct. And then you finally go and say, no, it won't stop him from running. His base grows stronger, which again, no, it doesn't. As more Americans see his vile conduct, the base gets smaller and smaller. It certainly gets more extreme and more weird and more deranged, but the base definitely isn't growing larger. Here's another clip I want to play, though, of Alina Habba as well. This is her on Tucker when she's asked about the charges, and she goes, I'm petrified. I'm petrified. Play this clip.
And I'm embarrassed, frankly, for my profession at this moment, and I'm scared for our country. There's no better way to say it, Tucker. I'm petrified for our country right now. This is third world stuff. We don't put politics ahead of the law. We have a democracy. We have the right to vote. We have the right to have a fair and impartial jury. And evidently, if you're a Republican, Donald Trump, or you just don't agree with somebody, you don't get that, and it's not okay.
It's just she has the same thing that Trump does, like. It's just word salad. She goes, I'm petrified. I'm terrified for our country. This is third world. We're a democracy. We're a democracy. Okay. Well, we are a democracy, granted. Although it's obvious that you MAGA Republicans want to overthrow our democracy. And I'll just show this other interview that you just recently gave on a right-wing network, far right-wing network, where you talked about Donald Trump singing again after the Manhattan grand jury criminally indicted him, that he was with the January 6th insurrectionists. And again, just like at his rallies where the songs being played are from the J6th Choir, a song by the January 6th terrorists and insurrectionists, that is how Donald Trump's been spending the time at Mar-a-Lago, inviting the J6th terrorists, the January 6th insurrectionists, to Mar-a-Lago and singing a song with them, and everyone's singing a song. You don't get more cult and extreme than that. Here, play this clip.
But I will say one thing that I think will tell your viewers who he is. Before he started dinner last night, he stood up and he played that January 6th orchestra song. And we stood up and we said the national anthem. And we all stood there with our hands over our hearts. And we prayed for this country. We were there with families of January 6th, people that have been falsely imprisoned. And they were crying over at a table over there. And you know what? That man, he stood up, he shook their hands, he gave them hugs, and he just keeps on fighting. And
so there you have it, folks. As I said from the outset, not only is this incompetence, not only is it lying, not only is it gaslighting, not only is it more incriminating for Donald Trump, it is this kind of deranged idiocracy, and it's everything that this country should not stand for, right there encapsulated in this video. I don't know what the heck that even is, right? Incompetent and weird and really cultish. It's like, it's watching cult followers engage in very strange behavior. Fortunately, their base is not growing. Their base is dwindling. The exhausted majority of all of us, we're exhausted no more. Progressives, liberals, independents, people who are actual conservatives who look at this madness and go, I'm not with this cult behavior. People who are not affiliated with political parties. Look, in this broad pro-democracy community, we love our country. We love our Constitution, and we don't do it with this weird cult behavior, strange stuff that you saw there with Alina Habba and Trump. So let's call it out. Let's expose it. Until next time, I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Hit subscribe We are on our way to 1.5 million subscribers thanks to your incredible support. So please hit the subscribe button right there. Also, check us out at patreon.com/MeidasTouch, patreon.com/MeidasTouch. And in addition to Patreon, you can also subscribe to our podcast for free. Wherever you get your audio podcast, just search MeidasTouch. Until next time, I'm Ben Meiselas. Thank you so much for watching.
Lock him up! Indictment season is upon us. Celebrate with the new Indictment season t-shirt and v-neck exclusively at store.MeidasTouch.com.